What's up, wrestling fans? Ratt, Rich Fulmer, and this is your Ratt Report, covering TNA for September 23rd, 2015. So, last week, we seen what happened. Lethal Lockdown, GFW versus Team TNA, and this week, I have to admit, this week didn't go exactly how I expected it to. I'm not saying that I am disappointed by any means. However, I kind of expected a little more. But, it's okay. Next week is next week. 7 days away. From last week to this week, it seemed like such a long time in anticipation to see how long or what's going to happen next. And not what I expected to happen. However, it starts out the show with Bram, Eddie Edwards, Davey Richards, Drew Galloway, and Bobby Lashley standing in the ring. Team TNA, their little celebration, if you will. Standing in the ring, Drew Galloway gets the mic. Actually, Dixie Carter gets the mic. Thanks Team TNA for everything they did. Kind of like gave Drew Galloway the seal of approval, and it seems like Josh Matthews, that idiot, is on Drew Galloway's side. I'm not taking anything away from Drew Galloway. He's three-time world champion in 3 different federations, and his career since leaving the E up north has really flourished. He's actually had time to get out and breathe. And I'm not trying to take anything away from him. However, in my own opinion, and this is just my opinion, you know, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. And I am an asshole. So anyway, my opinion to this is I like Drew Galloway. I really do. I'm not going to take away the fact that he was the one that got the pinfall last week. He was the one who won I'm not sure if you would call it a fight or a battle, but he won the match for Team TNA. But this is my problem. If it wasn't for Bram, I really don't think Team TNA would have gotten anywhere. I don't think they would have gotten the win, just because it's a numbers game. Bram came out last week. I marked out like crazy, and I think he's the equalizer in this whole thing. But in any event, Drew Galloway has Mike. He's talking about how it's all for the wrestling, it's all for the fans, all for this and all for that. And Dixie announces that all 5 of these men are going to meet in the ring that night for a number 1 contenders match. Winner gets a shot at EC3, Ethan Carter III. Next week is going to be a good card. I'm looking forward to it. TNA has been really doing good. They've made some adjustments. They've made some changes. They made a big move to a different network, Destination America. Some people don't get Destination America. However, it is an option to buy it. So I know you got to buy it. That amount goes on to your cable bill, or maybe you don't have to buy it. I don't know. I find what I can online. So I don't have cable. No, I do not illegally download anything. Everything I have is legit. Just throwing that out there. So it's going to be, tonight's main event is going to be Davey Richards versus Eddie Edwards versus Bobby Lashley versus Drew Galloway versus Bram. Really wanted Bram to get this one. I really think that Bram deserves a big push. I hope this isn't the last time I see him in a main event. I think these main event material, I think that given a little bit of a push, I believe he could do something big. And I know professional wrestling pretty well. I know they're individuals. I know they're human. I do not know the human race as much as I would like to. But it's something that you respect. Bram, man. Bram, I think Bram is a lot like me in many different ways. If I could get away with going and beating people up, I'd probably enjoy doing it. In a professional wrestling set, you understand. Characters are characters, and I like his character. I do not like EC3 at all. And part of me thinks that Bram would rip EC3 into little itty bitty pieces, chew them up, shit them out, and then spit on it, eat it back up again, and piss it out. Don't ask me how you would do that, but I honestly think that Bram would just annihilate EC3. Just say it any way you want. So Dixie, before the event gets going, they spent probably 20 minutes BSing around and spent 20 minutes in the ring, wasting time, doing crazy ridiculousness, just like EC3 does again. So Dixie's calls out EY, Eric Young, and now you see this, that nobody likes EY because Eric Young actually turned his back on TNA last week and fought with Global Force Wrestling. And I just want to throw this out there before I get going. I just want to throw this out there. It's all about wrestling. This is what Drew Galloway says. It's all about wrestling. Isn't that what Global Force is trying to do? Isn't that what Global Force is all about? It's not, bringing in indie guys from all over the world, not just the country, not from a state or a local area, all over the world. If you live in Wyoming, bam, you could do it. If you live in China, you could do it. If you live in Germany, if you live in France, if you live in Spain or Mexico or Puerto Rico or Samoa or Uganda, you got it. Global Force, and he brings people all over the place. This is a lot what Lucha Underground does. It's different, but people from all over the world, all walks of life, can go to GFW and do it. This is what it's all about, wrestling. EY comes out, and they have a few words. And she puts EY in a match against the guy that he stole the legs from, Sergeant Chris Melendez, who comes out in crutches. This isn't just any ordinary match. This is a lumberjack match. So you've got Sergeant Melendez comes out, wrestles EY, beats him with a missile drop kick, one-legged, from the middle rope. It wasn't from the top rope, but he gets him anyway. He gets him with the pin. Congratulations. Chris Melendez wins his leg back. And is EY gone from TNA? Is that what's going to happen now? Because next week there's going to be more ramifications from EY turning his back on TNA. Who's he going to wrestle? What's Dixie going to do to him? She can be ruthless sometimes. We'll have to see what happens next week. I'm not saying it was a good match this week, but the missile drop kick and then he pinned him. Everybody came in, held him up high, gave him his leg, held him up high, bounced him all around. Everybody cheered his name, chanted. He got a good reception for it, and now he got his leg back. It's stuff like this. I enjoy professional wrestling. I've always enjoyed professional wrestling. I just don't like the entertainment of it. I know that when I was growing up, it was different from now. It was different from in the 90s. It was different from the eras, the Attitude Era and the NWO era. You know, everything is different, but the show be entertaining, but put on wrestling matches and not waste my time for 30 minutes of the show and do nothing. Sergeant Melendez is a good inspiration for people who are back from the war, who are missing limbs, or seriously injured, life-threatening injuries, disabilities of everything from PTSD to physical injury, mentally. It really does a number, and it's an inspiration for Sergeant Chris Melendez to be doing this. I get that, but enough is enough. There's a guy who wrestles with one leg in Squared Circle Wrestling, 2CW, up here in Watertown, New York, and he's an inspiration for the handicap. I don't think you could say that these guys are handicapped because they're doing a very physical sport. If you ever stepped in the ring before, you know that it hurts to get slammed and it's hard to go one-legged. Maybe you have a blown out knee and you're fighting through an injury, and you're trying to do these moves and trying to perfect your matches, but you kind of have a bum leg. You know what it's like. These guys only have one leg, but they wear prosthetics, or they don't wear prosthetics, and they shine. Chris Melendez is shining right now. It's a big deal. I get it, but not. I guess they need to find a better role for him. Keep him in the ring, fine, but do something with him. Put him in a storyline that's not Eric Young and screaming and hollering out there like a banshee. Anyway, let's get on with that. Knockouts Championship. Jade versus Gail Kim. Oh my goodness. I gotta say, Jade, for those who don't know, is Mia Yim, former Shine champion. She dropped the title and went to TNA. It was just like that. So I personally feel she's got this Jade character now. I think that, and a lot of you would agree, that Mia Yim is actually, man, she deserves a TNA Knockouts title. In this match, she did a sit-down powerbomb on Gail Kim, and I honestly marked out, and I thought it was over. I think Gail Kim is awesome. She's probably one of my two favorite of all time. My first is Medusa Michelli, Gail Kim, just like that. You could almost put them together, and then the list goes on and on and on like that. And we're talking from mainstream to independent. Huge list. I couldn't even go through them all. Mia Yim's another one. So this match, the one thing that TNA did that pisses me off is before the match, and they did this a few times, before the match, they kind of ruined it, that Gail Kim. So they're putting on this they put on this match for the Knockouts title, Mia Yim versus Gail Kim. And then during the introduction, they announce and they show the promo flyer for it. Gail Kim defends her title against Awesome Kong at Bound for Glory. Awesome. But the problem I'm having with this is we have a Knockouts Championship match going on right now. You kind of spoiled it. I don't like spoilers. I hate spoilers. I want to know. I don't want to know what's going to happen before it happens. And then they put this on and I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, come on. Why? So, okay, we knew that Jade was going to lose, but she kicked Gail Kim's ass, and I think put her in a pay-per-view match, a big event, the big time, and I bet you she would do it. She could do it. Mia Yim deserves to have a TNA title. That's it. A lot of you will agree. If you haven't, if you don't know who Jade is before TNA, look up Mia Yim. M-I-A-Y-I-M. Mia Yim. And watch her stuff on YouTube. Amazing. She's one of the best out there. Sarah Del Rey, she wrestles. She actually trains the divas in the E. She has wrestled Mia Yim, and Sarah Del Rey is probably the best in the independent scene from the past 5 years. Gonna say 5 years. She's wrestled big names and she's beaten them. Mia Yim beat Sarah Del Rey. And Sarah Del Rey is the one who has trained Charlotte, who has trained Sasha Banks, who has trained Paige. Paige, we know, is a second generation wrestler, but in a family of wrestlers, professional wrestlers. But Sarah Del Rey has trained her, and a lot of people like her. A lot of people like Charlotte. Charlotte, in case you don't know, is WWE Divas champion. Of course, her opponent wasn't really a professional wrestler, not in my eyes. Just a funky figure somewhere. But I honestly believe that she wins it. She deserves it. Beyond anything. It was a shitty spoiler anyway. Gail Kim wins. Out comes Dollhouse. So they start attacking. It's Marty Bell and Rebel. They start attacking and Gail Kim, and the beautiful people come out. The beautiful people have this new edgy way about them, and now they're all like badass bitches, which I like this beautiful people version better than the other version. Are they gonna stay together? What? We're talking Madison Rain, Angelina Love, and Velvet Sky. They were beautiful people before the beautiful people were cool. Understand? They are the beautiful people. Lacey Von Erich was a beautiful beautiful person, and she is still a beautiful person, but not with the beautiful people. So the beautiful people come out. The fight goes back. Gail Kim is in the ring, gets to her feet. All of a sudden, you hear Awesome Kong's music goes off. Gail Kim grabs her title. Awesome Kong comes in. They have a stare down. So now it's clear why they had this match. It wasn't a match to give the title up. It was a match to get the stare down. I understand that. Still believe that Jade can beat Gail Kim. I think it's possible. I honestly think it's possible. And if you disagree with me, fine, because you have your own opinion. This is my opinion. If you just disagree with me, fine. But all I can say, in my defense, to hold up my end of the debate, look up Mia Yim. Look up Mia Yim versus Santana Garrett versus Sarah Del Rey. You know, you might find one of her versus Mickie James. There's a ton of videos out there in Shine, in Shimmer, and all over the world. Mia Yim. As we say it on the Ratt Report, Mia Yum. Y-U-M. So the stare down happens. They cut the commercial. Bound for Glory, it's going to be... Bound for Glory is going to be good, because so far the card is looking good. Kong versus Gail Kim is going to be classic. We've seen these matches before, and we've seen what these two women can do individually and against each other. So we'll see what happens at Bound for Glory. Okay, X Division Championship, Kenny King versus Tigre Uno. So we all know, and those who don't know, I'm going to tell you now, Kenny King is actually no longer technically with TNA Impact Wrestling. He is with, is in ROH now. We've seen him at the All-Star Extravaganza with Ratt Titus to reform the All Night Express. This is a good move for Kenny King, because technically he wasn't being used very well with in TNA with the BDC. I honestly feel that the BDC was just a bad idea. Good concept, bad idea. They really didn't do anything with them. All they did was feuded with the stand-up guys, and that's pretty much it. Hernandez went with... Hernandez is actually the original reason. It's going to make some of you mad, but Hernandez is the original reason why the BDC kind of disappeared off of everybody's radar. They kind of disappeared off of television. We know that story. Hernandez was with Lucha Underground. He decided when the contract was up, he decided to jump ship to TNA instead of re-signing. And then this caused all kind of problems with Lucha Underground and TNA. The TNA had to delete all of BDC stuff, material from all the shows that were already previously taped. So that, and he was in every single segment that dealt with the BDC, and Kenny King obviously was in there as well. And then MVP disappeared. His contract was up. He left, so they had to delete all of them. They had to break up BDC. Whatever's happened going on with Homicide, I don't know that. I don't know what's going on with Homicide, but. Kenny King, we seen him 2 weeks ago when they planned Lethal Lockdown, and that episode, and then we saw him a few days later with at All-Star Extravaganza with Ratt Titus. They're now All Night Express. Good tag team. ROH is definitely the place to go for tag team wrestling right now. Hands down. I know I'm on a TNA review talking about ROH, but that's how it goes. This is kind of bugged me, just like the Knockouts title match earlier. It kind of bugged me a little bit also because, you know, we know that Kenny King was already there. We know that Kenny King was going to leave, and he wrestled Tigre Uno for the X Division Championship. It was a good match. I honestly, I feel that Kenny King is a good X Division wrestler. He's a good. He was a good champion when he was champion, and now he's moved on to quote unquote greener pastures. I think it's a good idea for him. Him and Ratt Titus. I wish them both the best of luck. Tigre Uno wins. Good match. Who's next for Tigre Uno? We're going to find out. Bound for Glory is right around the corner. I keep saying it, but Bound for Glory is right around the corner, and we're going to see who's next in line for Tigre Uno. I'd like to see some new guys. I would have liked to see some PJ Black as X Division star or TNA champion. Speaking of World Heavyweight Championships, this is the next one. Now, last week we saw Rockstar Spud challenged EC3 for the TNA World Heavyweight title. We know that Rockstar Spud is Southside World Heavyweight Champion over in the UK, and I think Rockstar Spud is good. He's a good talent. You look him up, you find out his stuff before TNA, before he became a corporate stooge, before all this stuff came about with EC3 and Dixie Carter. Rockstar Spud is really good talent. And here we are, Rockstar Spud versus EC3. EC3 gets a win with their 1%er. This is what absolutely pisses me off about TNA with EC3. I get that EC3 is a good talent. He's a really good talent. But this whole gimmick they have about him, this wasting... I mean, they spent an extra 10 minutes wasting time on this stupidity that is EC3 with a World Heavyweight title. And honestly, it's like John Cena getting the World Heavyweight title. It lowers the prestige of the title. It's like Brock Lesnar gets the title. It lowers the prestige of the title. I'm not going to say that EC3 doesn't defend the title, because he's actually been all over the independent scene, all over the internet, defending the title. One of his title defenses was against the guy who trained him, J-Rock. Good match. That match, I actually got to check out that match this past week. I was actually able to do that, and it was a good match. EC3 has a lot of talent, and they're wasting it away by doing this stupidity with Jeff Hardy. He wanted his brother to come out. His brother Matt comes out, and Jeff Hardy, I'm glad. My prediction was wrong. I expected EC3 to take Jeff Hardy down a dark road, and Jeff Hardy was going to turn heel. But this week it didn't actually happen. He refused to attack Rockstar Spud and his brother Matt, and now we know. So let's see later on in the show. I could do this. I'm not going to wait until later to talk about it, but later on, EC3 ends up firing Jeff, and Jeff said, "You don't have to fire me. I quit." And then that was it. So hopefully there's going to be more action, less bullshit with EC3. Matter of fact, the main event, which we'll get to here in a bit, the main event is a number one contenders match at Bound for Glory against EC3. We're going to have to see what happens next with that. And next week is a whole nother thing. And next week is actually the go-home show for Bound for Glory. It's going to be a good one. Yes, it's going to be in the United States this year. Last year it wasn't. Last year was a good show, but it was in Japan. People kind of talk crap about it, but you know what? Everybody's going to talk crap about TNA. It doesn't matter. TNA is successful, very successful. And if you don't like it, just don't watch it. Just don't watch it. Don't badmouth it. That's it. Revolution's in the ring. James Storm has the mic. He talks about how those who have failed him and Koya, and he talked crap about to Abyss, to Manic, both. Abyss finally gets tired of it, and I've been waiting for this for a long time. This has been a long time coming. I liked Revolution. I really liked Revolution. The problem I had with Revolution is simple. The BDC came in at the beginning of the Revolution, and they took the spotlight. And now the BDC can't even be used. Revolution falls apart. Abyss takes the mic, talks about how he's the original, which is true. I remember him in IWCCW, which is International World Class Championship Wrestling, down in Puerto Rico, wrestling guys like Messias, being a monster there in baseball stadiums and destroying people. And then I turn on the show and I'm like, hey, what's this? NWA. Hey, all right, NWA. NWA TNA, Total Nonstop Action. Abyss shows up. Abyss does his thing. From day one that the doors were open, Abyss was the first one to walk through the doors, step foot in the ring, and wrestle. And I think his career has flourished since. However, we see him in different kind of roles. Joseph Parks, and with Revolution being a yes man in a Revolution. Well, no more. He was done. He is done with it and said he's going to walk away from it. I think Abyss made a good move. Like I said, I liked Revolution, but I think it was wrong time. What they did with him was complete waste. Complete waste. He goes to Manic. Manic and Koya were actually friends. Mahabali Shira befriended Koya. Koya befriended Mahabali Shira. And they got, Manic actually brought Shira into the Revolution, actually talked him into it. And you see that didn't last. So Manic said, you didn't make Koya. So James Storm kept hitting Manic, mushing his face. And at one point, Manic bounced his face off those steel cables. I say steel cables. I mean the ring ropes. Just because they're called quote unquote ring ropes doesn't mean that they are actual ring ropes. They're actually steel cables. You get wrestling rings that have the rope. They feel differently. They don't have the bounce, the necessary bounce that steel cables do. But anyway, those of you who do actually get in the ring and wrestle, you know that hitting those steel cables, padded or not, they hurt. They hurt when you run into them. When you're running the ropes, they hurt. But when you get your face smashed off them, it hurts a little bit more. And I think that was the determining factor for Manic. He said, you didn't make Koya, you didn't make Mahabali Shira, and you didn't make Manic. Now Manic then unstraps his mask, takes it off slowly. I didn't expect to ever see this. We know that Manic is T.J. Perkins. Yes, long ago, not too long ago, but 6 years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, Manic was portrayed by Frankie Kazarian of now we know him as The Addiction in ROH. We know that. But when that persona kind of died out, it became T.J. T.J. Perkins. No, we're not going to count Austin Aries as manic. He only did that one time to win the X Division title. He's not manic. He's not manic. He never was manic. Never will be manic. But he took off his mask, revealing his true identity, T.J. Perkins. I wonder if he's going to be T.J. Perkins from here on out, or if he's going to be still considered manic. And when Frankie Kazarian, I want to get this straight. When Frankie Kazarian was manic, he wasn't actually manic. He was actually suicide. It was the same person. Technically, same person. So, I want to say thank goodness that the Revolution has parted ways. I think that they had a good idea. They had a great thing going with them. It could have went somewhere actually, but they, like I said, they were outshined by the BDC and by everything surrounding the world title and Stand Up and Drew McIntyre and Mickie James. All that just was negative. Was positive for the role for the storylines, but negative for Revolution. I guess that's my point I'm trying to make here. It was a good idea, good concept, but it didn't turn out the way the writers had planned. It was like they made it, and then they said, "Here you go, you make your own storylines." Because really, it didn't go anywhere after that. Number 1 contenders elimination match. Bram, this is a main event. Bram versus Eddie Edwards versus Davey Richards versus Drew Galloway versus Bobby Lashley. And that's exactly how they came out. The Wolves actually, Eddie and Davey, they actually came out together. But, I'm so sick of Josh Matthews talking about, Drew Galloway got the win, Drew Galloway this, Drew Galloway that. Last time I checked, there were 5 guys. There were 5 of them in there kicking the shit out of the GFW. Josh Matthews and everybody is giving the props to Drew Galloway, when, honestly, Bram coming in the clutch and stepping into the ring, becoming the 5th guy, I honestly think that if it wasn't for Bram, I don't think TNA would have done it with 4 guys. I don't think so. It would have been a numbers game. It would have been ugly. And they keep giving that everything to Drew Galloway. So let's give you the rundown of the match. Bram was the first one to get eliminated. I really wanted him to do it because honestly, I feel that, and this is my opinion based solely on my opinion, but opinion comes with a lot of research. And if you look at it, look up Bram all over the internet. Bram would would chew up EC3 and spit him out, chew him back up again, swallow, shit him out, piss on it, and then throw him in the garbage and let the possums eat him. That's what Bram would do. Bram, I think, could be, will be a World Heavyweight Champion someday. We all know that he has his problems legally. He's been arrested for domestic violence, and he's suspended from TNA. I don't know how long this is going to take. I was supposed to find out last Monday about his court, what happened at court, but I wasn't able to. I can check on it and maybe pull something up, but I was unable to actually look for it. Not that I couldn't find anything, I couldn't find anything because I couldn't look for it. So there you go. I could do some research on it. Or if you know, post it in the comments. You can find me all over the place. You can find me YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Ratman, the Ratt Report .wix.com/Ratt Report, 2 T's. You can find me all over the place. Please let me know. If you know, then let me know, because I'm curious. Right now, as I'm doing this, I want to stop and do some research on it. But I'm going to finish this. So Bram is out. And I just want to point out that it took 2 Wolves, Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, to not only beat him down enough to get a victory, but it took 2 of them to pin him. Because he kept kicking out. And it's not a John Cena kick out. This is a Bram kick out. This is, I'm not done beating your ass yet. Oh, you got me down on my shoulders. Oh, well, get off of me. Now it's my turn. And he kept getting up and he beat on him some more. And they would beat on him back. And then it took him two Wolves to pin. One had holding the legs down. The other one holding the shoulders down. Took 2 of them. And then they wrestle for a while. Bobby Lashley hits one with the spear. Drew Galloway hits one with the Future Shock. Double pin. Both of the Wolves are out. This leaves Drew Galloway and Bobby Lashley. But I'm going to tell you something. Drew Galloway won with a sloppy ass drop kick. I've never seen a sloppy ass drop kick so bad. I don't even know what the drop kick thing is about, because earlier in the show I mentioned, and earlier in the night, Chris Melendez did a sloppy missile drop kick onto Eric Young, and he pinned him and beat him. And now this happens again. To me, I get it that they want to do him, make him the face of TNA. And I predicted it before that Drew Galloway will be the one to put an end to this so-called streak of EC3. And I don't think, it's not going to go over well. Only because if he does a sloppy drop kick like that and he wins, I love TNA. I love TNA. It's the best mainstream out there. And ROH. But they've got to have that match better. And I predicted it before, and I'll keep predicting it, because so far I've been right with Drew Galloway. He's going to be the one who wins the title off of EC3. Will he be a transition champion, or will he be a long-term champion, much like EC3? Now, if EC3 wins that Bound for Glory, I will be surprised. I'll be surprised, but I think it'll be something crazy where it's going to leave Drew Galloway in the middle of the ring the following Wednesday and be like, I fought for TNA. I stand up. I got cheated. And then I'm going to lose a match against EC3? I don't think so. EC3, Bound for Glory, it's going to be Drew Galloway challenging EC3 for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. I think EC3 is going to lose. I'm not something that I'm... I think this is a match where I could care less. I like Drew Galloway. I really like Drew Galloway. I do. Since leaving WWE, he's actually done some... his career has actually flourished. He's made it to TNA. Before that, he's right now, he is 3-time World Heavyweight Champion of 3 different federations. 1, 2, 3. I wish he would be able to present them and carry them around like the old days with Ric Flair. Unfortunately, that's not how this works. Ric Flair did it, Dan Severn did it with the NWA World Heavyweight title. Ric Flair did it with both the WCW and the NWA title. I would just like to I would like to see the World Heavyweight title being possessed by somebody other than EC3, and if EC3 is going to keep the title, then he needs to lose all the bullshit that he does. I mean, he's mid-card antics is what it is. It's all mid-card antics. And that match wasn't even a main event. It was the number one contenders match. I think it should have been the other way around. I mean, it went EC3 versus Rockstar Spud, Revolution segment, and then the number one contenders match. This drops the prestige of the World Heavyweight title. I don't know. Next week, Dixie Carter is going to announce a special guest referee for Drew Galloway and EC3 match at Bound for Glory. I can't wait to see who that's going to be. I think I shouted out a few names Wednesday night when I watched this. But I will just have to see. It's going to be less than 11 days away now. We're less than a week away from Bound for Glory right now as we speak. TNA puts out an APB against EY next week. You know, EY turned his back on TNA. We talked about that earlier. And now we're going to see what happens next week. This Wednesday is going to be explosive. EC3 and Tigress are going to verse Drew Galloway and Matt Hardy in the main event this coming Wednesday on Destination America at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check your local listings for a time and channel. 1-900-909-9900. Kids, get your parents' permission before calling. Meh. I just opened up a website. I'll be posting this podcast on there. It's at ratreport.wix.com/The Ratt Report. It's not a big deal. It's not a big thing, but it's big for me. Everybody here at Twisted Ratt Productions is happy that this website has gotten off the ground. It's nothing special yet. I'm still trying to learn how to do it. But there's a description on there. There'll be this podcast on there. Follow me on Facebook, The Ratt Report, all over Facebook. Find me, my name, Rich the Ratman Fulmer. Add me as a friend. Send me a friend request. I'll add you on my friend request. We'll talk about wrestling. We'll talk about whatever you want. Anything at all. And Indie to TNA, if you're an independent wrestler and you want to get your name out there, the Ratt Report is a good way to go. And Indie to TNA is the best independent group on Facebook today. If you just join, tell them I sent you. Tell them the Ratman sent you. Tell them the Ratt Report sent you. Tell them Rich Fulmer sent you. And they'll welcome you with open arms. Get into discussion. Get involved in it. We do a lot of different things. Our main goal here is to spotlight all independent talent. And that's exactly what we do. We want you, the talent, you, the promoters, to put your stuff out there. Put it out there. It's welcome. You are welcome to put your stuff out there. Put up videos, put up promos you have, put up your flyers that you have, put up anything, talk, cut promos, put it out there. And follow me on Twitter, The Ratt Report, and Instagram, Ratt Report. We just started that one too. So, on behalf of Twisted Ratt Productions, this is the Ratman Rich Fulmer, and this has been your Ratt Report. See ya!